It's very seldom that mere ordinary people like John and myself secure ancestral halls for the summer.
There must be something wrong with this place, John. Why would the rent be so cheap? Why hasn't anyone else rented it before?
Don't be silly, Jane. We got this place for such a bargain.
John is a doctor, and maybe, I wouldn't say this out loud of course, but this is dead paper and relieves my mind. Maybe that is one reason I don't get better faster. You see, he doesn't believe that I'm sick. If a doctor with a good reputation, and your own husband too, assures friends and family that there's nothing wrong, and all it is nothing but temporary nervous depression, a slight hysterical tendency, what can you do?
You're gonna love it here. It's fresh air, gardens. This place will be perfect for your condition. Don't worry, I'm gonna take care of you this summer.
Can I write?
No. That's the worst thing you can do with your condition.
But it makes me feel better.
It's the worst thing you can do. Come on inside.
I get unreasonably angry with John sometimes. I'm sure I never used to be so sensitive. I think it's because of my nervous condition. I never saw a worse paper in my life, one of those sprawling, flamboyant patterns committing every artistic sin. When you follow the lame, uncertain curves for a little distance, they suddenly commit suicide, plunge off at outrageous angles, destroy themselves in unheard of contradiction. No wonder the children hated it. I should hate it myself if I had to live in this room long.
Pack them in.
John is away all day, and even some nights when his cases are serious. I'm glad my case isn't serious. We've been here for 2 weeks now, and I haven't felt like writing before, since that first day. I meant to be such a help to John, a real rest and comfort, and here I am, a comparative burden already. It's fortunate Mary is so good with the baby. And yet, I can't be with him. It makes me so nervous. I guess John was never nervous in his life. He laughs at me about this wallpaper.
You know the place is doing you good, and I wouldn't want to just renovate this house for just a 3 months rental.
Then let's move downstairs. The rooms are so much prettier down there.
This room is doing you great. It's airy and comfortable. You're doing great.
I'm really getting to like this room, if it weren't for that wallpaper. I sometimes think that if I were only well enough to write a little, it would make me feel better. But I find that I get tired when I try. It is so discouraging not to have any advice and support about my work. I wish I could get better faster, but I must not think about that. I never saw some expression in an inanimate thing before, and we all know how much expression they have. I used to lie awake as a child and get more entertainment and terror out of blank walls and plain furniture than most children could find in a toy store. There comes John's sister. Such a dear girl she is, and so careful of me. I must not let her find me writing. I really believe she thinks it's writing that makes me sick. But I can write when she's out, and see her a long way off from these windows. This wallpaper has a kind of sub-pattern in a different shade, a particularly irritating one, because you can only see it in certain lights, and even then, not so clearly. But in the places where it isn't faded, and where the sun is at the right angle, I can see strange, formless figures that seem to skulk behind that silly, conspicuous front design. There she is on the stair. Well, the 4th of July is over. All the people are gone. I'm so tired. John says if I don't get well faster, he'll send me to Weir Mitchell in the fall.
I don't want to go there at all.
You have to, Jane.
But I don't want to. It's far away.
I cry at nothing, and cry most of the time. Of course, I don't when John is here, or anybody else, but when I'm alone. And I'm alone a lot of the time now. John's kept in town all the time by serious cases, and Jenny's nice and lets me be alone when I want to be. I'm starting to really like the room, in spite of the wallpaper. Maybe it's because of the wallpaper. I don't know why I should write this. I don't want to. I don't feel able. I know John would think it absurd, but I must say what I feel and think in some way. It's such a relief, but the effort is getting to be bigger than the relief.
John?
Quiet, Jane. You mustn't lose your strength.
He loves me so much and hates to have me sick. I tried to tell him how I want to go visit my family, but he said I wasn't able to go. I didn't make a very good case for myself because I started to cry before I finished.
Just drink it. You're my comfort and all that I have. I'm trying to take care of you. This is gonna work.
I'll try. How's the baby?
She's well and happy.
I never thought of it before, but it's lucky that John kept me here after all. I can stand it so much easier than a baby. It's getting to be a huge effort for me to think straight. Just this nervous weakness, maybe. Of course, I never mentioned the wallpaper to them anymore. I'm too wise. But I keep my eye on it all the time. There are things in that paper that nobody knows but me, or ever will. Behind that outside pattern, the dim shapes get clear every day. It's always the same shape. It's like a woman, stooping down and creeping about behind that pattern. I don't like it at all. I wonder, I begin to think, I wish John would take me away from here. I hate to see it sometimes, the way it creeps so slowly, from one window to another. It's like the figure inside's trying to get out, shaking it.
What is it, little girl? Don't go walking around like that at night. You're gonna get cold.
I don't think I'm getting better here. We should go somewhere else, please.
Jane, you're getting better. Don't be silly. And we only have 3 weeks left, so I can't leave town. But I'm a doctor. I know this kind of stuff. You're getting better. You're gaining weight. You're gaining color back.
My weight's exactly the same. My appetite, it might be okay when you're here in the evenings, but in the morning, and I might be better in body, maybe, but not in mind.
All the thoughts like that enter into your mind. For my sake and for yours and also for our babies, you can't let stuff like that enter into your mind. We'll talk in the morning.
At night, in any kind of light, in twilight, candlelight, lamplight, and worst of all, by moonlight, it becomes bars. The outside pattern, and the woman behind it is as plain as can be. I didn't realize for a long time what that thing behind was, but now I'm sure it's a woman. I haven't been sleeping, but I pretend that I do to appease John. The fact is, I'm getting a little afraid of John. I've watched John when he didn't know I was looking, and come into the room suddenly on the most random excuses, and I've caught him several times looking at the paper. And Jenny, too. I've caught Jenny with her hand on it once. What are you doing with the paper?
Why would you scare me like that? The paper stained everything it touched. I found it all over your clothes and John's. I wish you would be more careful.
Did that not sound innocent? I know she was studying your pattern, but I'm determined that no one will find it out except for myself. Life is so much more exciting now than it used to be. You see, I have something more to expect, to look forward to watch. I really do eat better, and I'm more quiet than I was. I don't want to leave now until I found it out. There's still a week more, and I think that'll be enough. I discovered something at last. The front pattern does move, and no wonder. The woman behind shakes it. Sometimes I think there are many women behind, and sometimes only one, and she crawls around fast, and her crawling shakes it all over. And she is all the time trying to climb through, but nobody can climb through that pattern. It strangles. I think that's why it has so many heads. They get through, and the pattern strangles them off and turns them upside down. It makes their eyes white. I think that woman gets out in the daytime, and I'll tell you why. I've seen her. I can see her out of every one of my windows. It's the same woman, I know, because she's always creeping, and most women don't creep by daylight. I see her on that long road under the trees, creeping along, and when a carriage comes, she hides under the blackberry vines. I don't want anyone to get that woman out at night but myself. I often wonder if I can see her out of all the windows at once. John is staying in town overnight and won't be out until this evening. Jenny wanted to stay with me, but I told her I would rest better for a night all alone. As soon as it was moonlight and that poor thing began to crawl and shake the pattern, I got up and ran to help her.
I came to check on you.
I did it to spite the vicious thing. It's so ugly.
I wouldn't mind doing it myself, but you must not get tired.
Nobody touches this wallpaper but me. I'm not alive. I don't want anyone to come out. I don't want anyone to come in until John gets home. I want to astonish him. If I have a rope up here that even Jenny didn't find, and if that woman tries to escape, I can tie her up. I wonder if they all came out of the wall like I did. It's so nice to be able to sneak around in this big room. Everything's yellow instead of green.
Jane?
Oh, look, it's John. It's no use, young man. You can't get in.
Open up!
You can't get in. Don't break down the beautiful door. There's the key out on the path.
Jane, open up!
Go get the key.
Jane, what are you doing?
I've finally gotten out, and in spite of you and Jane, you can't put me back because I've torn down most of the paper.
What are you doing? Jane!